That's it, do. That's it, okay. That's all. Let's. Oh, we'll get started now. Lao niệm đức đơn yên là. Listen. There are 5, 6, 7 of us, and we're going to recite the homage to Buddha Shakyamuni.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Me too. Yeah. Page number 2, right? Yunbo Jonde de Shin Shebo Ra Jombo Yanda Bo Zobe Sanye Riba Da Yazo De Wara Shebo Jide Jeba Jewo Duwe Kalo Juba Lana Meba Lada Mena Yunbo Sanje Jumde de Beje Wa Shaja Tuba La Chade Yodo Jabo Je Dumbo Jonde de Shebo Ra Jombo Yanda Bo Zobe Ribada Shazo Dembara Devara Sheba Jide Jemba Jewo Duwe Kalo Ju Lana Meba Lada Menanje Demba Sanje Jumde de Beje Wa Shaja Tuba La Chad Yodo Jazo Je Demba Jonde de Sheba Ra Jombo Yanda Bo Zobe Ribada Shazo Dembar Devara Sheba Jide Jemba Jewo Duwe Kalo Ju Lana Meba Lada Menanje Demba Sanje Jonde de Beje Wa Shaja Tuba La Yodo Jazo Je Kanze Kanye Zo Je Da De Saje De La Dumbo Ne Mane Jide De Na Cho Je Zo De Ze Jeba Je La Cha Nanda Bowa Chodo Zuzawa Yishe Jazo Seje Lumbo Raba Jide Sona Lame Wa Gobo Junye Jela Cha Tenjo Demba Trime Dawe Cha Sendo Tawa Jela Cha Tete Jena Siba Suna Je Nyame Junye Jela Cha Zelo Gobo Tuje Chende Tamje Kembe Temba Bo Sona Yunde Jazo Je Deji Shela Cha Dabe Deja Dewa Ju Nezo Ledo Jedo Deda Jeju Ba Shinju Jela Cha Zelo Jone Trove La Yande Laba Da La Radu Ne Shinje Damba Yunde De Gendu Laya Cha Zelo Deba Chiya Mejaji Yewa Pusum Soba Rangi Sene Yonsu Du Tene Sanje Dembai Kama Rabri Mameda Juma Seba Chut Melam Loda Tinda Bo Diji Chuna Didarta Sonam Ti Tamji Sibai Goba Dene Jinji Jadu De Gada Nada Chive Labdul Sibe Sole Drova Drovara Sho Injitol. Yeah, Injitol.
The one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When, the supreme among humans, you were born on this earth, you paced out 7 strides, then said, I am supreme in this world. To you who were wise then, I prostrate. with pure bodies, form supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the three worlds, winner of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With the supreme signs, face like the spotlight moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. You are immaculate, three worlds are not. Incomparably wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the Founder having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean. To you, the one gone to thusness, I prostrate. The purity which makes one free from attachment, the virtue which frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality. To that dharma which pacifies, I prostrate. Those who are liberated and who also show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts. To you, the sublime community intending virtue, I prostrate. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions, subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a mirage, a flavor of a lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flame of lightning, a cloud, see conditioned things as such. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all-seeing, subdue the foe of faults, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by waves of aging, sickness, and death. Heart Sutra. Page 4. Lolo, this is page 11, rather, page 4, page 5 in phonetics. Oh, yeah.
Aba kunjo son la ja ze lo dige da gi toba du je na chon den de je bu kawa cha gu bu bo re la ge lo indu chenbo da cha ju senbe gi du chenbo taba chi do jo zo e cha ju senbo senbo je ba je re se shirab je paru do chenba sa mo je ba nye la nambar ta shin pumbo nga bo de da la ya ra shin je dombara nambar ta o tene san je je tu se da denba sheri bu chan ju senbo senbo Papa je se wang ju la de ge je me so re je bu kan la la shirab je paru do Samo jeba jeba deba de jedara labara cha dege je meba tang chanju samba samba paba jere ze wanju ki sedan demba shari dade bola dege je meso shari po reje pomo kala la sharab je paru do chimba samo jeba jeba deba Dedara nambara tawa chade pumbu ngabo deda laya rashin je toba nambara yang taba jesu tau su tongba wu tongba ni su 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 le tongba ni xe ma yi tongba ni le yang su xe ma yi no pe xin du tsuwa da du xe da du je da nambara xe ba na tongba wu xe re bu deda che tang je tongba ni de cinyi Majeba, Mangaba, Tima Meba, Timada, Tewa me, Hawa Meba, O, Sheribu, Tadawana, Tomba Nila, Sume, Soa me, Duje Name, Nambara Sheba me, Mime, Nawa me, Name, Jeme, Lume, Yime, Sume, Drame, Time, Rome, Riz. Cheme do Mije Kame Bane, Yije Kame, Yije, Nambara Shebe, Kanje, Pado, Yang Medo. Mariba seba me, kashi sebe bado yang me do. Eshendo dunge wada, kunjo wada, kobada lame, ishi me, toba, matoba yang me do. Sheribu teta wana, janju senba na toba mebe chir. Sherawaji paru do chimba la tenji nede semla triba mejing, traba mede chinji lole shindo dene. Nyangele debe tarar chendo tuzondo namba shube sanje tamje jang sherabje parudo chimba la tene lana meba yang taba zobe chanju do ngombara zoba sanje so teda wena sherabje parudo chimbe nga liba chimbe nga lana mebe nga minyamba da nyambe nga donge tamje rabdu shebara chebe nga Mezubena dembara shebara jade sherabje parudo chimbe nga meba daya ta gade para Parasangade Buddhi Sova Sharibu Chanju Samba Sambas Yada Sharavaji Parudo Chemba Samo La Labara Chao Kene Chumde de Tengenze Dele Shende Chanju Samba Samba Chembo Papa Cherese Wanjur Leso Shechawa Chene Leso Riji Pu Tede Shino Tede Shinde Chidara Chuji Temba Shindo Shiraje Parudo Chemba Samo La Jebara Chade Tishin Sheba Namja Jesu Ira Jonde Dege Ka Zene Zeda Demba Sheri Dade Boda Chanju Samba Papa Chere Se Wanju Dan Tamje Dan Dembe Kor Deda Dan Hadan Medan Ama Yida Esara Jebe Jide Ira De Jomden Deje Somba Ngomba De Tong
Page 11. Thus I have heard, once the Blessed One was dwelling in Rajgriha on Vulture's Peak, together with a great assembly of monks and bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One was totally absorbed in the concentration that examines all phenomena called profound illumination. And at the same time, the noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, was engaged in the profound practice of the wisdom gone beyond, analyzing the five aggregates by nature empty. Then, through the inspiration of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra spoke to the noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, saying, "How should those of good family learn who wish to follow the profound practice of the wisdom gone beyond?" Thus he spoke, and the noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, replied to the Venerable Shariputra, saying, "O Shariputra, whatever son or daughter of good family wishes to follow the profound practice of the wisdom gone beyond should look at it like this, analyzing the five aggregates by nature empty. Form is empty. Emptiness is form. Emptiness is no other than form. Form is no other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, recognition, karmic formations, and consciousness are all empty. Therefore, Shariputra, all phenomena are empty without characteristics. They are unborn and unceasing. They are neither impure nor free from impurity. They neither decrease nor increase. Therefore, Shariputra, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no recognition, no karmic formations, no consciousness. There is no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind. There are no spheres of the eyes up to no spheres of the mind. There are none of these, all the way up to the sphere of mental consciousness. There is no ignorance, nor is there destruction of ignorance. There are none of these, all the way up to there is no old age and death, nor is there destruction of old age and death. Thus, there is no suffering, no cause of suffering, no cessation of suffering, and no path. There is no wisdom, no attainment, and no non-attainment. Therefore, Shariputra, because there is no attainment, all bodhisattvas hold to the wisdom gone beyond, and because there is no obscurity of mind, they have no fear. Passing utterly beyond falsity, they reach beyond the bounds of sorrow. All the Buddhas who dwell in the three times, by relying on the wisdom gone beyond, fully and clearly awaken to unsurpassed, most perfect and complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of the wisdom gone beyond, the mantra of great insight, the unequaled and unsurpassed mantra, the mantra that calms all suffering, should be known as the truth, for there is no deception. The mantra of the wisdom gone beyond is proclaimed, Tayata Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvaha. O Shariputra, this is how a Bodhisattva, Mahasattva should learn the profound wisdom gone beyond. Then the Blessed One arose from that concentration and praised the noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, saying, very good, O son of good family. It is exactly like that. The profound wisdom gone beyond should be practiced exactly as you have said, and then the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, the Venerable Shariputra, the noble Avalokiteshvara, that whole gathering in the world with its gods, men, anti-gods, and spirits, their hearts full of joy, praise the words of the Blessed One. So ends the noble discourse on the essence of the wisdom gone beyond.
Last was Shell Talimbe.
Lao La Yinda. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that ring on the Sapubu. And that Junju Jase Chimbu, Shiola Zebe, that Junju sent that Chanju Sempe, Jobalo Juba sent. Chetan that Jobalo Juba said that Jobalo Juyak, Chanju Sempe, Joba de Labiak Colata. And that ring Junju on the dead. That was my Lord Chigi or this was.
Okay, it is Thursday, and we reserve the way of the Bodhisattva. This is the way of the Bodhisattva, the heirs to the Buddha, composed by the illustrious Shantideva. The great Shantideva composed the Bodhicharya Avatara, the way of the Bodhisattva, the conduct of the Bodhisattva. It is about the practice of the Bodhisattva and our training.
Oh, 제가 들에 이르다 나도 자주 셈베 줘봐 생기다 자세 전부 시월라 고랑게 다 줘봐 냠슬랑 줄게 제외 냠뇽 디 아니 마 숭샤베다 빼제디 전주 들어와 제가 땅 알아주게 한 고랑게 줘발라베 냠뇽 텔라 빼대지는 알아주 나시지 랍고요 제가 다다 자주 셈베 줘발라 라바 생데다 라니 랍고요 바인도다 라비아 페제디 준주디체 다딜라 랑게 셈데라 장주 셈베 줘바티 고랑조 라바 칸데 라바 나시 나랑조가 데나시지 빼다네 라비아티 오 딜라다 라바스르 랑게 라바스 딜레질라 바 고아자오레스 문지
And so it is then the way of the Bodhisattva, the Bodhicharya Avatara, composed by Shantideva, based on Shantideva's own experience, having developed the mind of awakening. Then he practiced the conduct of the Bodhisattva, gaining experience, and based upon this experience, taught directly his own informed experience. And so we take then his example, he is the exemplar, and we practice in the same manner as the illustrious Shantideva describes. Each of us then is each the individual practicing. The text that is the basis of the example is the way of the Bodhisattva. The charya, the conduct, the mode of conduct, is the very charya of the Bodhisattvas. This is the training, and it is our very own practice.
Oh yeah, that today into the matang that Sanju Sembe Chobola Labia to that Tamu Labia Shidela that Tamu Sanju Sem Tamu Majeba Jeber Chevechidu. Ani sem de keberche ani kebati ani manyaba sunwa chidula that liu chima ta da zo da de chaju sem ma jeba kebe chidula liu tangbu sum kebati manyaba sunwa chidula liu chima de sungu yore sonos.
The basis of the training of the Bodhisattva is to produce the mind of awakening where it hasn't yet to arise. Then having produced it, one preserves the mind of awakening. The first 3 chapters of the way of the Bodhisattva are dedicated to first producing that mind of awakening where it has yet to arise, and then the later chapters ensure its preservation.
Oh yeah, that Sanjusem Tamu Majeba Jeber Chet, Sanjusem Tamu Liu Tamu Sungu Sanjusem Majeba Jeber Chebek. Any tapta, that you the Jen Chazan shit, that Liu Parba. 다 숨네 시방아와 투바투바 제바 고바둘라 아니 자주심 제바데 마냐바 송하게 펜송 나한테 타말 루추바 가서나 아니 제바 다된데게 자주심 줄라 제바데 아니 마음발다 대부분도 제바 사지지 고바 토베 줄라 토베시도 뭐와 어두sen다 루추게 뜻이도 생고요 레스토랑시.
Then the mind of awakening where it hasn't yet to arise is urged upon us in the first 3 chapters. The first 3 chapters describe the method, the causes and conditions for the arising of the mind of awakening. When the mind of awakening has arisen, then chapters 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 ensure and describe the preservation of that mind through descriptions of the benefits of protecting and guarding the mind of awakening where it has arisen. And the 10th chapter, where the mind of awakening has arisen and it has been preserved, is the dedication of the mind of awakening and the activity of the Bodhisattva to the actualization, the manifest actualization of Buddhahood, that those virtues become cause for the achievement of awakening.
Oh yeah, that is what Tandanganzo says at some the colors and the same Keba Chana, that same Keba the Manyamba Yaku Sunwa Chebata and Sunwa Tonda Kone Kondo. 쌤집에 타르침바 치고로와 바로도 침바스도 전마다 쌤 타르침바 치고요. 제가 다 대치벌 집에 아니 다쌤 송아 제발게 양라 아니 류시바 바요게 류스 어떤 바요게 류날 당아도 대시적이 여러 송로
Where have we arrived in the text? But at the culmination of the development of the mind of enlightenment and in the ensuing guarding, protecting and preservation of that mind of enlightenment. And furthermore, the increase and intensification of the mind where it has arisen. This is the perfecting and the consummating of the mind of awakening. And so the fourth chapter, titled Carefulness or Conscientiousness, we find ourselves here in chapter 4 of conscientiousness.
근데 세상 다쌤 송아서 다 간다 바여봐서야 돼. 바여봐서야 다 된다도 바여봐서도 좀 다 간다를 수수고 고숨고 쪄바디스 다 쪄바디 송고고 여러 대 안에다 소 이기 아니 거는 이지 쌤데 다 쌤데 송고고 여러 제가 다쌤 송세야 돼. 다 지단 쌤 송해야 되라. 다 배낭 아주 단다 아란족에 되게 라바 켈렘베기 왕도 제바이나 소다르게 돈바 송해야 여래 자주 쌤베 돈바 송해야 여래 상하지 돈바 송해야 여러와 어제서 디가 송세야 되다 단다도 룽아 예수 저바 송해야 되래 어디디 레송로지다.
Now, in short, conscientiousness is the guarding of actions of body, speech, and mind. These actions must be carefully guarded, especially the mind must be carefully guarded. Generally speaking, when we speak of that which must be maintained, guarded, or preserved, we mean especially pratimoksha vows, Boddhisattva vows, secret mantrayana vows. These must be protected, especially through guarded action of body, speech, and mind.
근데 세상에 따지당 아주 지den기 차와인 바이나 다 수수글 베게 내가 레 친지 최소 나서 여러 강갈로 다 간다 수수기 지금 내가 간지지 뭐 이나야 내가 될라니 쌤 때문에 거네 간다 쌤 숨에 거네 내가 쳐고를 쌤 마송와 이나 아니 내가 강가 투쇼도 그러와 세상 대난신 빼 대난신 이제 다 단당아도 준주고 나라 쌤 송와세디 다조 단당아도 쌤 송와세디 다쌤 자주쳐도 쌤 깨봐 원도 송네 다 깨봐디 마냐바 송와스 어딜라 대시작이 요래 송로지.
An ordinary person in ordinary affairs, and there are all sorts of actions and activities that those entail, our ordinary affairs, is in their careful action, careful especially insofar as their mind is under their control. Where this conscientiousness lapses, one loses control, and this causes a loss of control of speech and action. And so guarding the mind here means to protect what has arisen, and that is namely the mind of awakening, to guard that arisen mind of awakening.
예, 다단다 류 그런 게 시야게 바유 땜바스 바유바 땜바스도 바유바스도 좀 스타 간제 고숨고 줘바디 배 바유바스도 고숨고 줘바디 배 하장게 삽삽체는 배 공부체는 송와스 어다 바유바세 지 그런 거 카두디 대시디 대시 고래 손으로.
To teach conscientiousness, to provide instruction in conscientiousness, is to indicate the exceptional importance of care and cautiousness in all activities of body, speech, and mind. And this is the topic of the chapter.
도시 세상 바유에서 좀 꼭 간다지 부수도 보도체 아니 직박에 선바달라 시나다 암다로 제데 송어 된데질 섬탄교 마레스 고 되게 개편에 가야 말하시 나제가 빼는 것도 바유에서도 뭐 양샘날배 부수도 보도체 샘디 발라마서나 즉 지메 줘봐 이 지메 줘봐 어데데 빼나 계급기 망주 하나 계급배 마르쇼된데 팀 당보여 줘도다 아니 직박에 즉 속바 있는 속바도 시우 팀 당보여 아니 낭미는 낭미는 빼게 낭미 즉 하장기 배팀 당보여 줘도 데레도 부수도 보던데 송야가 된데 계자 말했어. 그 바유생도 그 간다 셈좀 줘봐 제단데 셈데 간 루기 롱아 이송고 쩌바 땐다는데 아니 간다 쩌바 상부 땐 두와 쩌바 녀발 레기도나 바가 쩌바 상부 두 랩투야 제가 탑시지래 손로지.
Conscientiousness does not imply, does not suggest any oppressiveness, any closed-mindedness, any anxiousness. Wherever there's an oppressive feeling or anxiety, this is not the intention of instruction in conscientiousness. It isn't anything like communist authoritarianism or strict rules and regulations set down by an employer, or even strictness in family expectation. It's nothing of this kind. Instead, it is to proceed with great heed to the opportunity for actions of body, speech, and mind to invite virtuous activity, to be the opportune moment always for virtuous activity rather than the alternative.
어데레 딱 한다 던다 도도를 받아서 고대월서 빼는 것도다 유모여러 되자 매봐 세다 매봐 디모 매봐 아니 나제 매봐 차도 매봐 신데 간다 셈그 거기 셈그 나라 된지가 매봐지 유를 못 받내봐 되자다 세다다 디모다 나제 차도도 좀 매봐지 셈도 봐 해보지 내기도나 않고 가래 봐요 셈 송아 봐요 봐 생각이 자기 열에 손으로지.
In short, to make this understandable, conscientiousness is sustained non-aversion, sustained non-attachment, sustained awareness, sustained non-envy, the absence of jealousy. And when all of these are lasting and come naturally, without interruption of aversion, desirous attachment, and ignorance, that ease with which one is able to proceed is the very conscientiousness meant here.
그래서 다 인디서 마다 알아서 가르스나다 배나 공부를 주기 단다디 렌제 차원나라 그래서 렌제 차원나라 마차 세탄 티무메스 마차 바스도 되자 메버스 거라 마차 세탄제 세탄 메버 티무메버체 오 티무메버 티기 온게다 내가 가르치고 이나야 디게 탐제 개월레레스 아니 개월레딜 아니 가리어스나 개월레디게 랑이 된도네 된도버도 탐제버도 개와치그레스 아니 개와 탐제도 된메 개와 디네 파츠베다 개와 치마 그 당말로라 아니 탐제 개와고 양다바 네그레스 왜 동해 매버 대화를 never 치그레스 어디 송요레스.
The great Nagarjuna spoke of conscientiousness in this way: non-aversion, detachment, non-ignorance. Where these are present, the actions informed are virtuous karmas, and they themselves ensure increasing prospects of fortune in this life and lives to come, the avoidance and elimination of sorrows, and ensured contentment that is lasting.
그래서
No.
예, 제가 또 대인들마다 나도 가르치고 그랬으나다. 그다음에 공부를 주고 송들을 되자셔다 때문에 대질레니 계획 내에서마다 단다도도 랑기 균제 삼로 땅하고 균제 시에베 거네 아니 랑기 니마지기 다 로야 니 대야 녀야 간지기 줘봐 니마지기 줘봐 줄럼 가르치고 있나 대탐제 아니 바게 딱 계획 내지 심바 계획 심지 심바지 그거 열어서 그러지.
So it is then Nagarjuna says, detachment, non-aversion, awareness, these lead to virtuous karmas. When one perceives this, understands this clearly, then in any day, in activities, all the day's activities, when one is traveling, when one is at rest, when one is lying down to sleep, all moments are moments that are conjoined with virtue, and all are constructive.
예, 진짜래. 세상 다 뒤인데 다 계획sem다 딕베셈 생에데 당고 뭐지시한 거지로 딕베셈스 다 딕버스도 가서 와도 공도 대시 망고 잡사래. nganzi di wanga ni deja shedan timu aho de zukanga digbache ani digi wangi ani lunga yusum ji joba khari cheba ina dige samjala ani digbe les kazin digbe les o de de chinye gi le di chinye de la ani de waro ta digbe sems o de de kazin ta de de shingwa rosa re song
We have presented already the virtuous mind in contrast to the non-virtuous mind. The non-virtuous mind is rooted first in identity view and self-grasping, causing desirous attachment, aversion, ignorance. These mental afflictions then cause actions of body, speech, and mind that are necessarily negative, non-virtuous karmas. The mind that causes non-virtuous karmas of body, speech, and mind is the non-virtuous mind.
Oh yeah, that digbe lady yaboji ngoshena that digbe lady that digbe lady yabu ngoshen bayna that is lamsan kharisne gewe sem seda gewe le singede ani lamsan ngoshen ba chagres esa ti indu zamba that gewes gamu gesem lana gewesem odu sem de la digbe ta gewasni yorwa esa da gesem singede ani ta khandeji la ngosen goresna da 쭉 셈나라다 개셈 시도좀 셈나라지 테네 즉 초아게를 주고 그러 어디 가르지 거스는 다 되자면 마차베 셈스 아니 셰다메 봐 티모메 봐 나제메 봐 타도메 봐서 어디 메바디 아니 게웨셈레 아니 딜바 게스메 바티 가라 네바디 아니 셈 수와스게 자겨래 손으로
To identify the non-virtuous karma, when that identification occurs, one is able then to parse what is a non-virtuous mind from what is a virtuous mind. Then perceiving this well, understanding this clearly, one can recognize a difference between the virtuous mind and the non-virtuous mind. We identify then virtue carefully, and in such a way that with a familiarity that comes from identifying virtue, we are able to recall it in such a way that it causes a certain feeling. And that feeling is an awareness that virtue is detachment, it's non-aversion, it's non-ignorance, it's non-enviousness, it's non-jealousy. And when the mind naturally rests in these states, then the mind is conscientious.
Oh yeah, that in it, oh, did it that the Timo the Maja Tado to the Mebangala dos never ina. And it carries that same anything on it never ina. And it that tiba same. And it doja shedan Timo that the Zugan Zilo to two yonsa. Same now, but same now to never kega yon or yomar kaza conjugate. Doja meba the Nimu meba the Zug same the one to Jurdeva inza. And it pajogo Numu on jog same day.
When desirous attachment and aversion and ignorance and jealousy and envy are absent in a state of mind that is detached, non-averse, aware, non-envious, and the like, and when the mind is manifestly resting in this state, the mental afflictions of desire, desirous attachment, envy, and the rest, those that are bad actors and which perturb the mind, have no access to the mind, for the mind has become changed in such a way that it rests naturally in conscientiousness.
Oh yeah, that kanda kangbe nala that pena kangba dul pesha kangbe nala ani susula nyoba chenye da susula chikange magao midigidi pakka oro ma yongma tuba sogorwa oh di so tuya di chajen gari korsa konala yamana kangba gode jigunsu pa yap ani kangba nala ko yongso da pakka nyege korsungwa da zukanga du guguduwa 어디나시 전에 당아주 미개의 셈되기들 가게 셈나 주 마요가 탑실라 아니 다 개회 셈도 뭐도 깨봐 최고로 제가 개회 셈들이 아니 되자매봐 세다매봐 디모매봐 아니 다도매봐 아제매봐 주 매봐도 랑 셈나 대대에나 건축 송ገብ체네 아니 유모도 랑 줄에 깨 두고 말에 바까 두고래 손로지
Take as an illustration your home and what you would do if there were a home invader, there were a burglar, someone who would harm you, someone you disliked. You'd bar their access. You'd prevent them from entering in whichever way you would, perhaps closing windows, closing the door, putting guards beside the door, whatever would ensure that they had no access to your home. In the same way, the mind that is guarded insofar as it has transformed its resting state into a virtuous frame of mind that is described by non-desirousness, detachment, non-aversion, non-ignorance, non-enviousness, non-jealousy. And when the mind rests in this state naturally, mental afflictions have no point of access.
오야 딱 한달 개회 셈 다디 모션 바제 개회 셈디 랑 셈나라 네 바제 아니 제 미개회 셈디 수랑이 깨라 바까까 제바 인자 개 미개회 셈디 깨 마주 바제 개회 셈디 수 네버 제바 오 덴디 제바 제다 단다 준주 류 시반의 시야가 셈 수와 세디 고아 덴디 질 갑투어 거래 손로지
It is then in this way that one identifies the virtuous mind and rests one's mind in virtuous states as the very action that ensures that mental afflictions do not arise. They, in effect, prevent the arising of the mental afflictions and ensure their continued state. And this is the practice of conscientiousness outlined in the chapter of carefulness or conscientiousness, chapter 4.
오예 덴데지는 삼로 땅아 이나 아니 바이오 생기디 가다지 개첨부 이바다 바이오기 폐 바이오바 땡고바 마테나 예바 간데지바 어디게디 아니 신에 랑게 셈나로 소아도 레비지 게투그래 손로
This is the understanding that ought to inform our reading of the chapter on conscientiousness, inform our understanding of the critical importance of conscientiousness, of its benefits and advantages, of its purpose and its necessity, and of the disadvantages of neglecting conscientiousness. In such a way, we should reflect upon conscientiousness so that it gives rise in us to a feeling of its importance.
오 덴데 쳬바에나 아니 니무 땡셈 니무기 다 니무 깨온도 삼바 아니 니무 땡셈 바스 다 관제 바게 니무 땡 투바 어디 용거 열었어다 니무 바간다 니무 깨기도나 깨마주고 고바 까고로 까 니무 땡으로 어제 니무 땡 바스데 어 덴데지로 고아자고레스 그래서 덴데 인도 마다 가서 니무 칸데스 땡으로 빼나 가서 니무 빼나 깨 조조로 지어바 이나양 아니 기바 깨마주고 제 까바제 아니 지금 이몽어마 계사조 망보 여바이나야 코 지금 네버 총로다 용으로다 요래 아니 다 지금 니모 다 깨니 배 시우지 토부 차대나야 바마로 다야 생겨 어다 뒤주고 냠랭 간가 딱 한다 님부 땡세게 아니 딱 수주고 셈나로 님부 땡나 거기 탑시에도 어디를 요래 손으로지
This is then a strategy for applying antidotes to mental afflictions, where a mental affliction might arise. Conscientiousness prepares one to adroitly suppress it, adroitly address it, makes one able to quickly address an arising mental affliction and to block it. We should understand that conscientiousness causes this sort of alacrity when it comes to addressing mental afflictions, and they might arise quickly, but they are addressed equally quickly. They may have arisen many times already and have accumulated, but through conscientiousness and the application of antidotes, their intensity is reduced and gradually attenuates. This is the meaning of conscientiousness, and it informs the application of antidotes.
Oh, yeah, today you do batang also tende some tang tabu payo yabo ten and you buggy guessing the go to cure you mo de cab tende majena and you put in tambo tomba ni da ranji meba the bet the shuji suzuki some tang chen buggy you put in 2 years shiraka like how yours. That tambo ale suzuki sem soon at the tapshi chazan sang. And they gone that and it tomba ni da ranji meba that buggy that is him. In Bugone tag, you walk, you put it. Okay, some of Tangi in any new way of a child.
An impression of this sort should be yours regarding conscientiousness, that conscientiousness in the application of the antidotes is ultimately, especially, first, the transformation of the mind, the changing of the mind into a resting state that is virtuous. To instead leap into the antidotes that are most elevated, such as contemplation of the absence of intrinsic nature, of emptiness, and to imagine that this is successful application of the antidotes, is to proceed without having all the parts of the fundamental practice of conscientiousness, which is the simple resting of the mind in a virtuous state. When this is established, then the antidotes that are meditation upon absence of intrinsic nature and the rest will actually be efficacious, will actually serve a purpose.
Oh, yeah, then there is a Ranzo, Tandabato, Ranzo, any chick packet, Numula, Numuin by a water match, Womanshe. Any packet dig dojo, Gesemdi, Gevesemdi young, and Suzuki pet. Kandarchi motion by Yabo Majivache, and it tea one goes with Chubakanga, Yumugu on to shore. And it go Kanza Tavares, Yumugu on to shore and charging road to Todego you into, and also that Kandar Pages, and it Dunge, that Medubi Dunge sing at the Kandar call, same thing, you move on the shore sadu, and it Dunge Yimba, the Konzu Chelekoran, Miguel, Miguel Dunge was. That's a day into the matter. Sujungo the Kade, Gawad, and Washington, but any Gawad Sumayina, and it Dunga. I think it got to a Yuba, Nubado, the round of the Wasson.
Up until now, we have consistently misunderstood mental afflictions and failed to identify mental afflictions. And in just the same way, we have failed to identify and recognize their opposite in virtuous mindsets. And so then we have been lost to the sway, fully under the influence of mental afflictions, which cause non-virtuous actions of body, speech, and mind. And this becomes each day, has become each day, our regular habit to engage in negativities which cause unwanted suffering for us, all as a result of being under the sway of mental afflictions. Now, if we recognize that virtue and the virtuous mindset is the antidote and the opposite of non-virtuous mindsets, which cause, as their very function is to create sorrow, that sorrow is addressed by the virtuous mindset. Okay.
Oh, yeah, says that, and they do that Paget Tigba that Gevegi, that and the order the Yabo, more trouble in a young, and it talk on Yimbudo, Matemba Chen, do Shashabaina. And Yanko Kandar meet Nezayan Nachero, Kamba Yan Nachero, Kamba Yanako, and they call Paget Yamacho, Masona Koi Yanjo, Yamora, Nezan Tapa, Kamba Yan, called Pejutan, or Tinashi. 아니 가랑저 니모데라 봐 니모데 마데바 있나 니모데 뭐심바 있나야 고 니모 마데바 있나 고 양조 미 강바 사 강바 야니나 이제 고라게도 양조 양조 레용 거로 저다 레용나 아니 양고 동에 째버세 고랑자 배 강에 째들한테 무슨 째용 거로 저다 다디 니모 땡전 아니 고바다 간다르다 니모 땡고 요리 니모 땡네 아니 고 양조 라야 용하면 주 용모투 소고로 와서다 디동야 제도라 다조 템바다 시시 아니 땡이지 아니 다 때네 매버 쳐야라 바굿굿 자원에 뽕투가 제발라니 아니 사동 다 간다 바게 돈이 실라 손도 되게 사동 돈은 배서 뉴버죠 뭐든지 맞이버이나 아니 니모 원셔버 있나 양고 니모 간다 자와 되가란 젠 데디로 와서 니나시 니모 땡고래 니모 땡네 아니 봐 안다 니모되게 붙이니 저 용마투가 소야겠어도 니모 땡투 같아 제야 되나 다 답시 약수 전부다 시신 때야지 아니 땡이지 이거는 하게 쌤 권느야 아니 다동지 권느 자원의 중심을 제야 어떻게 지역으로 해서 그러지
Though, should one merely identify non-virtue in contrast to virtue and settle for a mere recognition of their difference and never apply any antidote for the elimination of the mental afflictions, this would be to extend again, as it were, the lease to an unwanted tenant. You wish to evict them, yet do not, and extend their lease, and they return again and again. It would be no different to identify non-virtues and mental afflictions, yet to never apply an antidote, thus allowing them to return again and again, causing sorrow. So then one must apply antidotes for the elimination of the mental afflictions. And these antidotes are namely supported by mindfulness, vigilant introspection, mental concentration, and for the complete uprooting, the deracination of the mental afflictions, the union of calm abiding and special insight. Without these, mindfulness, vigilant introspection, mental concentration, the union of concentration and insight, one will have no capability that will allow them to eliminate mental afflictions, but they may be, the mental afflictions, barred completely, their very access eliminated entirely through the application of mindfulness, vigilant introspection, mental concentration, and especially for the complete uprooting of the mental affliction, the union of calm abiding and special insight.
그래서 오야 다 님부 템발라야 님부 띠즈 셰바고 그래 님부 띠즈 답변아 아주 참하게 다다 로번 처라처럼 수용 참아도 나왔다 님부 땡세야 돼 님부 땡한테 싱다 매체바나시 고레스 세르다 매체바나시 지교요 말레스 싱다 매체바이나 싱 매디 싱디 버바 색 아니 양조 그 싱디 수 양조 싱이 뭐얼수 교여메바 베 간다 그 양조수 싱기 뭐얼수 차야메바 수그로 어디나 싱고 그레스 세르 멜 제샤이나 양조고 세란장 어 데디글 마도 줄줄 말어 어디나 싱진 빼자네 송요레 손로지
Application of antidotes must be identified as one's strategy, and it is spoken of by the authors and scholars of the Brahmana, Tignaga, and others, in this way, that the application of antidotes should be performed in the way in which when tinder meets flame, the tinder that is wood is changed, and not applied in the way in which if you burn gold, gold remains gold. The application of the antidotes should be catalytic, transformative, in the way in which a flame burns wood. That is its tinder, low.
Oh, yeah, that can that to can sabun jump us. Also, that bangja de la, ni bangja de la. Also, petene bangwa, sabun jump us, sabun jump us. That in a chick young lar major suji bangwas. Oh, then take that chick bangdu reach the mangu share. That in an tandang also, nimbu ten pine the kata, nimbu the saw and ko yanju juni kemel, so joro. Oh, dilla that ten bangwas, or the rich, or deep pound that. Take the time and nimbu top she going to forget that. Shabach and pound, saw and ten meva, but Kanda lady Jebuchuni Dungachuni Kia Meva Seva or the little Kogor.
The application of antidotes for the abandoning of the abandonments, those things that are to be abandoned, are classified and described in various ways. Eliminated at the very base, eliminated such that they never arise again. They're described differently, but the application of the antidote powers is for the elimination at the very base of the mental afflictions that cause suffering, such that with this elimination at the very base of the mental affliction, there is no more sorrow that the mental affliction may ever again produce.
Oh, yeah, the Indizamata, our Tomic, and Changsayro, Sanjusan Besa, Sanjusan Besa Nalata, Nimbutin Zutelea, and it Kanza Payu Comzita, so Payu Comzujaro, Munji Talatembe Payu Combats, Munji Talatembe Payu Combats, Chime Talaten Payu Combats, and Uji Talatembe Payu Combats. And got it, Munji Tuji. 바이오 식세 뭐지 되게 바이오 아니 렌직 집에 바이오 소한테 바이오 된다 가지 송여라 스케디 대시적인 예소
아니 디 응아디 양결 직성로치
알 뭔지 탈라 땜바스
라라
뭐요라
라
뭔데 제 뭔지 탈라 땜 뭐만 레사 사죠 들어 뭔지 탈라 땜바스 거 아침에 탈라 땜바스 뭐발라 지니 뭐 제와도 봐 가야 탑시서 와들 아침에 탈라 땜바스 의지 탈라 땜바스 다다외 뒤지 다다 주주가 빼는 드링도셔는 드링들로다 바 예바주나 바이오마데 바이는 예바 제기로 와 어디 가야 치돌라 아니 의지 탈라 땜바스 아니 뭐의지 탈라 땜바스도 뭐딱 다시 디다 어려다 니모 제바디야 고노 마페야 치돌라 아니 바이오 땜바스 아니 렌지도 집에 바이오 땜바스도 맞다 아주 바이오 된다지로 알 딜라다 현지도 때문에 바이오 된 바사 딩아도 장아도 경상가
맞아
장아도 창소
상성
아니 되게 제리제
low. A song described the application of the antidotes in this way. The application of the antidote at the outset, the application of the antidote subsequently, the application of the antidote in the middle moment, and the application of the antidote to the manifesting, and the application of the antidote to the simultaneously present. There are these five. So the first, then, the application of the antidote at the moment of the beginning, that those mental afflictions that have arisen already, the antidote applied to them, the application of the antidote to those subsequent, that is, those mental afflictions that would arise, their prevention, the application of the antidote to the middle, the arising of mental afflictions presently, and to the manifesting, which sounds very much like the mental afflictions arising presently, but it is the prevention of the increase in mental afflictions, and then the application of the antidote to the simultaneously present. So these are the five.
Yes, one.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, that and the one you tell a temper said that one chasing the Dibazula. Dibazna, that nearby in Baton and Chichu Chevater, so the Benat Kazan Cheve Dibag and by Dingon around Tembe, Rang also Diba Cheba Tembe. And in Yabatazul, but Dibaz Diba in Baton, Shaba Cheba. And in Martin, the Maya, the Temba together, Pellam, Martin, but the year then, but 10 days in the Shaba Cheba Jorah. O dila ngonji thala tembe ani payos o dile shite shijag do sonosi.
the application of the antidote at the beginning moment is for the purpose of addressing those mental afflictions that have arisen, those negativities that have already occurred. It is first to recall them, any that may be recalled. This happened in the past. This negativity occurred in the past. There are two negativities that one cannot recall, but one can create the impression, aware that there are such negativities that aren't recalled. And these two, one confesses to, recognizes, confesses to, and then mends. And this is the first of these five, according to Asangwan.
Oh ya, ta nipa de chime thala temba sanda. Ta chime thala temba singedi ta susu ke samlo go ne. Ta maobala. Tu ta ngoma de maobala. Ane je kesi ta susu nyemu be wando chini. Nyemu be wando shor ne. Ane je kwage ta rangi dikwa do mikyo kari sawa. Le kari sawa ina yang. Dige tamba tema tane be pa tende chini be shakpa chini be shaki yin sambe ke samba dila. Ane chime thala tembe ayos.
These are the conscientiousness at the beginning moment, the conscientiousness in the subsequent moment, conscientiousness in the moment, in the middle, the conscientiousness, the conscientiousness of the simultaneously present, of the manifesting, conscientiousness of these. Now, conscientiousness of the subsequent moment is to reflect, or rather anticipate, the possibility of mental afflictions again influencing one unduly, such that one again engages in negative karmas, whatever they may be. Anticipating this scenario, then one is poised to confess and purify any negativity that might occur in this way, and this is the conscientiousness at the subsequent moment.
Oh, yeah, that's somebody uji thala temba payo sendra. Uji thala temba payo sendra. Penada tada tiringi tizula, pena tiringi nima dina la sabe ta. Lunga yesu yuko ni nyeba kari chungwa ina yang. Pe tirirang shaba mato nge sanyi shagi jela shagi sayada. Men tada pena chuzu nyingun che yu dikwa ina nge konda shagi sanyi shagi sam tirichini pal loyan chimba ina. Ko kanda dikwa di shaya leba da, an dikwa ya pe rugu yor. Zidan di indi tada nyeba chungwa di tada sha tuba cheba di la, an uji tala tembe payo se, o dinde rishi jun sha song si.
And the conscientiousness in the middle moment is the conscientiousness that informs the present today and all actions of body, speech, and mind that occur today, presently. That is, any negativity occurring presently will, without delay, be addressed, confessed to, and purified immediately, without delay, without delaying when there is a transgression in the morning that one says to oneself can be left until afternoon, and in the afternoon I will take care of it. Or today I have misstepped, but I will take care of that misstep tomorrow. Without delay, in the very present moment, confessing and purifying the negativity is conscientiousness in the middle moment.
Oh yeah, that is shiba dirita, ngonji tuji payo singdra, ngonji tuji payo singedi, ane ta ngana la nyumu penata susula, chikpake nyeba dhawo tizu kadu yon ma yon ta tizu ka sarana nyeba yon ma, tizu chunga ki pe shoge nyeba yon kogore, nyungu nyeba yon kore, konda nyeba yon se nyeba kan yon ma, nyeba di kadu yon ma yon ki nyeme inza, 아니 다 콜 대신 레버이나 트레도 뱅에 샤기 인삼 간다지 네바 거두 중나야 거두 중화를 나서 트레도 샤투가 지기 인삼바디 아니 뭔지 뒤지 되고 사 뭔지 뒤지 바이오생도 샤거래 손으로지.
Conscientiousness at the manifest moment is the awareness that transgression and infraction may occur at any time. It isn't definite or assured that it will happen this morning and not later, or later and not this morning. It isn't guaranteed, or rather, there's no anticipating just when there might be an infraction of some kind. So, this being the case, one remains poised to, at the acute moment of the arising of the mental affliction, to at that very moment practice conscientiousness. This is conscientiousness at the manifest moment.
야, 다들 내가 봐들어. 달 현직 집에 바이오스, 현직도 집에 바이오스. 달 현직도 집에 바이오스도 뒤다 남바꾼도 가도 뒤집에 가두이나에 뒤숨 뒤다 남바꾼도 되네 가르베다 nendechen pe nyeba majong ya 탑시 pe 삼바 손을 nyeba 가야 pe 마고바 제야 탑시 왕도 chen pe 깬다 되네 균은 마쇼리 왕도 chen 아니 베다 간다 nyeba pe 가르 총나 샤고 삼바제 마중거라야 아니 고 nyebado 중국에 삼베 셈 송네 아베 nyeba 마고바 제바들라 해지도 집에 바이오스 어떤데 시기열에 손으로지.
And the fifth form of conscientiousness, according to Asangwa, is the conscientiousness at the simultaneous moment and in the simultaneous way, that is, at any and every moment, during any and all occurrences of non-virtue or infraction. At that very moment, that informs one's response, so that one is simultaneously guarding oneself presently so that no infraction or transgression occurs, while simultaneously being poised that so that should a transgression occur, one immediately addresses it, so that one is at all times and in every way conscientious.
그래서 도시 세상다 바이오기 되는 간다 바이오 송수 바이오 송나 편 어디게 다 셈나 때때때 내데 내부 좋나 아니 가리어스나 나랑게 냠내 치두 곰자야 이나다 아니 소소게 두 냠내 가리치게 요바 이나양 아니 디 네버도 펜도 첨부 펜 첨부 근데 요르 세상에 바이오기 꼴이야 즉 예 이런 강한 소리를 망부자야디 가르스나다 고 바이오디 간다르 연대 탐제 퍼진 두각이 냠내나라 콜로 바이오디 싸워도 송구요 제가 대체는 바이오지 콜로에 대체도 망부자기 요소로지.
Conscientiousness is employed in these ways. I have lent considerable emphasis to conscientiousness for the very reason that meditation and virtuous practice of any kind is successful by virtue of conscientiousness. It has this benefit. It is constructive in this way, such that I've described it as it were from the left and the right and the front and the back. Many times over and again, the six perfections are described as successful when they are, consummated when they are, rooted in a foundation that is conscientiousness. So I have described conscientiousness at some length.
도시 다디 있는 가서 가서 들어오면 다 간다르 가서 빼러 샤한다 지대기 자와들라 아니 랑게 딱제 제바 딱제 마제바 랑게 켈렘보다 말렘보 두만나조지 요래 요래 지나 임바 있나야 아니 지대기 자와도 주이나 랑게 즉 가다 내가 그 고점이 슈마제바 있는 저기요 슈제바 있는 저기요 다 간다를 고제 내가 직 랑게 내가 직 고점이 이 슈마제바 제신 제바 있는 저기요 근데 레스 근데 이바 있나 양스 아니 단단하도 다 준주 냠냠 고랑 세당 저 장주고 셈기 다 장주고 셈 줄라 깨네 아니 장주 셈 마송하지 바 르땅와 되이나 디 다티그 마레스 다 디송고 열에서 그렇지.
And we return then to the verses in the chapter which present to us an ordinary scenario in a worldly setting in which we might, without sufficient examination or preparation, begin a project. And later we might call off that project. We might abandon it midway through. So we may begin something and not see it to completion because we have leapt into it without the due diligence it required. And this is all well and good in ordinary affairs. But those ordinary affairs are very different from the Boddhisattva charya, the arising of the mind of enlightenment, where the mind of awakening is present, to fail to protect it and guard it, and then to sacrifice and abandon that mind of awakening is nothing like aborting an ordinary activity. It is very different.
예, 다디 가르치네 스타 저거대로 다디 자와 신들로 땅은 지고 아니 다다 장주 셈 깨바디 아니 마냐 바체데 베 마당와 체네 냐고야비 다디 가르치네 레스 저거대로 제자디도 다디기 렌딜라 다단다디 전주기 제가서 남아데 산제 남다 디세 셔럽 첨부 간다바 다니 계장 따따베 텔라 쉐도 지시요 사간다 장주 셈디 땅 먹어야 땅나 예바 유백이 다 시야기 전주고 측디 측디래 손어지다.
Then why is it that ordinary activities can be called off, but there's no calling off the mind of awakening, that it must be preserved, it mustn't ever be sacrificed or abandoned? Why is it so? Here it's described in the 3rd verse of the 4th chapter. Yet what the Buddhas and their heirs have scrutinized in their great wisdom, I myself have probed and scrutinized. Why should I now procrastinate?
야, 다 딜라 균세로 딜레스 다 단다 지 당분이게 산제 남다 디세 셔러 첨부 따따 베스 som다 또 가르세 버스나 베나 다에 알아서 다 베나 아주 롱다 리바니요로 롱라 때네 아니 다 장주고 셈르 땅나 장주고 셈바 토르난 지금 말레스 다 디조 당부 지 당분이게 롱라 때네 아니 다 장주섬 미터 도르나 미지바 거드 숭구야레스 산제 남다 디세스 아니 다고도 전심백이다 산제다 장주섬바 진족이 아니 가르세 당보 장주고 셈기 다 장주고 셈라 당보 셈을 줄래 깨버지 바로 쪄발라 랍타르 랑게 데부터 아니 데부터백이 아니 뇨디 아니 다 랑게 쳐 뒤절마 쳐 섬전 쳐 땜바라 제가 데데 인도 아니 코란족의 숭백이 냠용 체마 아니 롱 체마 아니 수족의 뇨아 체마 데데기 토네 아니 심제 신 남라양 아니 다 랑기 가다 냠소 뇨베 체마 되게 시야나 또 떼바이다 아니 건조 아무 따바 체네베 땡데 띠띠 체네 떼바이디 아니 롱 체마다 계획 예바 여러 식송으로.
The verse is a reason. The verse is a rationale. Yet what the Buddhas and their heirs have scrutinized in their great wisdom. These 2 lines. As there are authority that is scriptural and the authority that is reasoned, the first two lines describes the authority derived from scriptural example. Scripture authoritatively concludes that the mind of enlightenment, bodhicitta, must never be abandoned. And this is by the authority of the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas that have come to this world. And characteristic of the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas is their first developing bodhicitta. And then second, they're engaging in the precepts of the mind of awakening. And then third, their achievement of the result that follows from the mind of awakening and the experiences that ensue for them. This progression and the experience of it, then the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas educate disciples to be tamed in, instructing those disciples to be tamed in the experience of bodhicitta. And it is then that the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas speak from valid and authoritative experience with authoritative reason, from authoritative feeling to others to instruct them. This is the scrutiny of the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas in their great wisdom, described here in verse 3.
Oh yeah, that in an chimani botigi, and it's Rani Gija, Tata, tell us should Jesus, Rani Gija, Tango, Chanju Sengi, Pen, Tango, and it Turbache, and Sabache, and the Turbata Sambegi Gone, that Rangi Chanju Sem Jen, Pen Yobata, and the Chanju Sem Jay Gobata, Jen, Pet. Love Chimbo Yiba to get Chazang, the Chambacha, and the Chanju Sem Julake. I get China, and it got Gom Bekanda, Nibata, Turbata, Saba Cheba, the Rangi to Chebachena, and it like Junze Yoba Tone. When they look at it, to see Geba Chesaris, Rangi, Kelens, and use some Gigi, but Chanjusum Yanikena, but the Kachimbo Yobata, Gegu Yoba to get parents as a Rangi Tong, and it gave a Kelen. Dede che sawares, seda dede yidu, ta di ke sawa di masungwa, ani ba le toro yina, ani hajangi nyeba chenpo yiba di, ani ta bage doga nala sung yore la, ani susuga rikbe jang, ani cheba chene, ta nyeba nye, ani nyeba nye chaju sem gyula ke sawares, ta ke sawares sem di, ani tangwa yina, ani hajangi nyeba chenpo yiba di, ani ta 간다 제 사교도 르땅 르 땅와이나 다 랑게 배다 자와 첨부직 르땅와 나신기 배다 대적이 예바 첨부 예바도 송구 열에 송로스노
I myself have probed and scrutinized. Why should I now procrastinate? The benefits of bodhicitta that one has learned of and then contemplated, and having learned of and contemplated bodhicitta, one recognizes in bodhicitta value such that one then strives to develop the mind of awakening bodhicitta, recognizing that it is a blessed and extraordinary mind. And then it comes that the mind of awakening does arise, and one examines and by reason concludes that the mind of awakening entails great benefit. Following such a conclusion, one commits oneself to the mind of awakening bodhicitta. And then should it arise then, following one's examination and the conclusions one draws, should the mind of awakening arise and then be discarded, this is the most extraordinary sort of mistake, where one has given subject its due in examination and develop their own conviction, and then to, at just this point, discard that thing which one has concluded is valuable, is the same as to begin a great project and then to abort it. And it is of the greatest sort of problem.
제자다 장주쌤 땅이나 아니다 예바 첨부 요레스다 가르치네스다 균센로다 간들 거기 예바 가리요레스다 디 균센 시야가 탄다라 다 간다 장주쌤 땅이나 아니 다 치마 대화 도배 파샤니다 감 예송을 깨야기 줄에 줄도 그래 제가 뒤년가 차버레스 디 임베 균센 때야 될다 가르된 거스나 아니 준주고 지들라 게데 대다 담제네 레지 두버 마제나 셈제 대다 꾼루베 다기 조왕 진짜 줄서 어디 예송도 누구이와空당이 열에 손을
If one abandons the mind of in awakening, Boddhisattva, it is a great fault to that person. What it ensures for that person is not only that they will never experience the lasting contentment that they otherwise would, but they ensure their own rebirth in the hell realms. And so it is dangerous to ever think to discard the mind of awakening. And so the fourth verse on page 53. For if I bind myself with promises, but fail to carry out my words in deed, then every being will have been betrayed. What destiny must lie in store for me? This is the indication here in scripture that the outcome of abandoning the mind of awakening is birth in the hell realms.
This one.
So,
Oh, yeah, that in a sick tamboji that get it that tamjene legit to a majenas. Penasangado penata pedo, which is Sheva, Chizonalata, me page over Suzuki. Any page and it's certain rock, color get on, be color shoot 30 yeda, ring being egg, be color jiji, ye serious. And it could get down and none less on any color page, any choose Karchiga Yonwe. Cargo, Sketchetina, any consul Luna, Petuja, Sigiros. Petuja, Kosobe, Kazan, she would chicken as a Teringo, Chemason, Midi Tuja, she would do. Then in the call of a big Tagame, Ketcha shake mess, and I would bet who lung chit the Chigiros. Oh, Petina, Kokazana, Korangi, Kelem, Lega the Maduba was. Oh, Lega Chuju, the Richila, and it Penyabachimo, the Tuja, Sigi Yena, and it telling of the Chanju, Sam, the lady, and it's San Choju Sanje Tamje Rangi, Pe Bango to Tentang, Semje Tamjela, and Rangi Pe. Sanjay Sala Gober Chigi, Kinzukanga, Tantang Chigi, Penge, the all of Gugi, Tungetam, several Chigi, Sazan Kene, and the base, Rangabe Chabra Chekanga, Chetsa, and the Langale Majiba Inza, and the Semje Tamji Luberos, Semje Tamjela Gogotan Roger, Hajang in Yabachemwe, Inza, and it take Tebu, and the cultures, and yes, only Jigres, that de la Guerres.
or if I bind myself with promises, but fail to carry out my words in deed. In an imagined scenario where you have generously invited others to a meal and said, come at this time because I'm preparing this meal for you. And you've called guests to come, promising a feast that you'll share with them and you're hosting. Should you do that, and then when the time comes for this shared meal and the guests arrive, and when they arrive, you ask them why they've come and do not acknowledge them as guests anymore, though you have promised that you are making them a meal and that they are invited to share it, they will be infuriated as you have taunted them. They will become angry because you have not acknowledged them. And if this is seen as problematic behavior, understand that to call the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas to witness you and your commitment to establishing all sentient life in the state of Buddhahood, that you call Buddhas and Bodhisattvas to witness that you have made this your firm commitment and vow, and then to instead simply dispense with and discard the mind of awakening. This is to deceive and betray sentient beings and ensures birth, rebirth in the hell realms.
Oh, yeah, 제가 가다 다 네바 간다 주의 춘주지 셰바 있나야 아니 네바 여바 된데 있나 아니 주의 첨부 셰바 있나 아니 네바 디체 여바 이마디 셰모고 레스 제가 디도 잠바 아니 샘진 디다 꿀루베 샘제 탐제를 고고 땅루 고바 적지 셰바 인도 아니 계란게 도사들 야다 많이 요래 아니 계란 마 도그마도 야 도사게 랑가디 계란 고접사를 도사 요마레스 제가 계란 마ኛ 손을 끼그레스 그냥 야도 살랑가디 아니 심제 강을 르땅바레 심제기 된다 켈렌 베지베 잭지시 고고셰 바인자 계랑 디기 녀바디기 아니 계랑 다 지망야 손로만도 도서 요 말에스네 어디 숨고요 레송로지.
These lines reiterate that should you tell a small lie, mislead a person in a unimportant way, yet that might become a significant non-virtue for you. To tell such a great lie, to deceive so many in such a great way, it would go without saying that the results will be for you very negative. And so it is, in fact, that in doing so, in deceiving all sentient beings, you have firmly closed the door to any upward progress for yourself and begun a dive to the hell realms. And there's no other course for you. This is the only course for you engaging in such a deceit.
Oh, yes, that the current Zui Chimbu, Hajang Zui Chimbu, Simje Tamje Lu, Zui Sheba, and that never Chimbu race. Oh, there's a Tayimbe, any the Yimba, any countries rest, that Sheje Junzi, the Kungro, Shego, Shea Tandala, and that's it Tamad. See what the Sigomad level, Mobo Peba Junsela, Yiji Jimber, some Chene, Megan Jimber Mejeba, Tea Yida. 태양 이다 유rsung나 서도제다 베다 간제 알로디 되다 찌디 손라스다디 셰지게 콩베 인생 장기 열에 손로지.
Then every being will have been betrayed. What destiny must lie in store for me? When the lie is so vast that it is to lie to all sentient beings, one ensures rebirth in the hell realms for oneself. And the scriptural support, the basis for this, is found in verse 5 on page 54. If in the teachings it is said that those who in their thoughts intend to give a small and paltry thing, but then draw back, will take rebirth as hungry spirits.
Oh, yeah, that the Induzamba Chezan, that Juzendo Karsna, Mobu Pepper Junsela, Yigi Chimber, some Chenes, Tanganazo Pena Page, Mobu Peppers, the Matangazo Pena said, oh, and Tolodo, Takomdo, Karina Pena Kamado, the Mobu Pepper, the Rigirangi. Semgan Pajimbatangi is Kana Malabase, Semna and Temba ina Yangs, and the 10 and mission dollar Jimbamatan, Java ina, and dig it to book careers, Yidali Kigres, or Mobu Pepper Chick, the day Samatanga ina Yang, Tegazi Yaba, you were petting your resonance.
This is the scriptural support then. If in the teachings it is said that those who in their thoughts intend to give a small and paltry thing might be food, clothing, a place to stay. For those who in their thoughts intend, this is merely a thought too. It isn't spoken. So it's the mere thought to give food or clothing. But then draw back will take rebirth as hungry spirits. The result is to take rebirth as hungry spirits. Here, the scriptural basis.
This one.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, that Tenet Tandu Digala careers, no? Like Suzuki, Semne Jala Beck Seda. That could took her Kamba Kariman or Sena Jingo somebody, any Kellen, Rangi Jingis, Kellen, Kanma, Lungani, Pat Namju Tensana, and Telejan never chill Dugres, Karzana, Ida Kyo Mazeta, Nyawalayan, and the Kiag Jul Dugres, Sedan Tindegi, Takanda Tanju Sembeki, Jobala, Laviagi, that Kellen, any Chigangi, that Jimba. 하나 세 고요점직 집어스 짐고손의 마지바 이나양 예바침부 대가스 그 제부배 예송나네 이다다 냐와를 깨고 같은 데 예바침부 여바 이나 아니 장주선배 쩌발라 말라 장주선 러 땅와 이나 아니다 디바딜레 체 여바 임바디 다 시에먹고 임바 빼된 거래 손으로지
now here, it is the thought, the mere intention unspoken, drawn back, reneged upon, and then the rebirth as a hungry spirit. When body, speech, and mind all express that promise to give food or a place to stay to another, and this has been expressed in body, speech, and mind, then this leads to rebirth in the hell realms. Now here, to promise and commitment oneself to practicing the precepts of the Boddhisattva, when to renege upon a mere intention to give food and clothing ensures rebirth as a preta. And when the commitment to give food and clothing spoken to when reneged causes one to be reborn in the hell realms, when it is so destructive and injurious, when it is such a paltry thing that one promises to give, how much more destructive it would be when it is such a promise as is entailed by the mind of awakening.
Oh, yeah, that the day did them tongue also, Dinima did Lobson de Shaggy, that Jotani in the Jotani Mena, and that Ganda Dinima Haji couldn't Jersey to get a Kandar Aranzo Pena Tideroa, Penang Chulu, Chasha in the Pena Chulu to it, any Karchigers and Tambu, any pen shake, pen shits and any that's Kurang Chobala Labdan, that's Susu. 팀도 여러와도 출루서 배나 당보 배나가도 이슈고 출루도 차샤면 이슈 출루라도 배 당보 차랑 배 야보치는 군조고 배 차랑 그 군조고 차랑 배다 지금 난거리 지금 제거리 차랑 배 간다 배 대화 중에다 강가 군조 가정을 아니 계속 차랑데 맞아봐 이나야 아니 군조 저만 야바치를 다스고 탑탑이 차지 깨시고로도 그랑 도당 탑이 차지 대나신다 장주선배 저발을 납두이네야 당보 아니 장주쌤 깨고래 장주쌤 깨는 배다 배 하다 라면라서 가오르기 스페다 시오지기 밖에 배운 전부 이어받다 아니 지다 시오지다 간다 년부 셰자를 전부 셰 된다 이어받다 간가 셰자로 이나양다 된다디 마르고 이나양 아니 녀바데 요르다스 아니 요 코다 장주 아도 배 낭배 쳐리다 이슈 쳐리 사바이 밖에자래 인도 아니 당부 통말 내 당부올라 아니 저봐 나 장주선배 저발로 탑케베 저발로 탑케베 돈에 당부 나 당부 가와께 받아 가주 되는데 계속 그 맞아봐 이나야 지바 년가 된지 요르다스 어디데 스타고 랍장게 탑이 차네 되지 송단 요르 어디게 시게 인소노지
아니 기질로데 아니 남페 출로데 아니 이슈기 출로데 팅스 사바 아니 간레스
다 맞죠 가서 지단 시단 람게 남샤도 다시 자체 시기로 와
라라 알았어
자체 시기로 세다 인도 또마다 당보 레 당보 때 낭베기 취나시나 레 당보하게 줘발 랍주 얘네 람래 레 당보하니야 차데 아니 람라 람줄에 깨차네 랍주 아니 디네 박베 사톱네 람 랍주 고데시페 하장 망고 여러와 오 제가 대조이디 아니 고 다다 레 당보 장주섬 당보 줄에 깨네 아니 다섬 송고야게 마송 송나 페 마송나 님이 어디 시기 어래서 no.
We can conclude here for today and proceed with our question and answers. Or if there are no questions, then I can go through another review of what we've covered so far, which would be to say that the spiritual practice and religious practice, different religions have in common an approach in which first the benefits of a certain activity or devotion are described, and then following that description of the benefits of that devotion, then the means for being devoted and practicing is described. But first the benefits are described. For instance, in Christianity, one may say that the Lord will do this and this and cause you this happiness. But if you were to transgress the word of the Lord, then you would be punished in this way. This is an approach and a strategy that is taken in different religious traditions to urge a beginning person along in their practice. And here we have something similar in this celebration of the benefits of Boddhisattva, this exhortation to develop the mind of awakening, that the mind of awakening entails great advantages for the person who develops it. But should one transgress their commitment afterwards, it is gravely destructive and very problematic. The presentation of the Boddhisattva resembles the Christian presentation. However, the depth and profundity of the description of the paths, the Arya Bodhisattva Bhumis, the manner in which bodhicitta may be produced in the mind, these are exceedingly profound and found in the Bodhidharma. In any case, this exhortation and celebration of bodhicitta, and then this warning that there is grave risk too should one transgress one's promises. This is the sort of the way in which many religious spiritual traditions address the beginning person.
Yeah, awesome.
Now, if there are any questions, please ask them.
유에서게 아주 가지마가 빨라 예수도다.
Listen.
빨라 다이스들라다. 저거 당갈래.
Oh, hello there, Father friend.
Hello.
Oh, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. You use the word Boddhisattva. Dharma means, dharma comes from the Sanskrit word of Dhri. Dhri, D-H-R-I. Dhri means to hold onto a track, just like a railway track. Okay, the rail goes on the track. So Dhri is kind of a discipline and way of life defined. Okay. And what I heard today in the evening sometimes half sleeps, sometimes fully awake. Really, they define the way of life means what my granddaughter says. So many things told in hour and a half, and all defined by few words. Be good, stay good. Good versus bad was defined. So that's way of life versus dharma. Okay, let us not mix up dharma the way it is said in Christianity or Islam. I'll not say again Hindu is a dharma, Hindu is also a way of life. So I would like to have some light from Gese on my question. No, not my question, not a question. It is a statement. Okay?
It became difficult making out what you said there. So I'm sorry to say. I followed the Sanskrit and the meaning of as holding and attracting, that it is a discipline and a way of life. And then what I heard you say is that what you heard is that while you were awake, and maybe not enough, too, is that the Buddha Dharma is in essence what was described to you as speak well and be well. And then, so this is what I understood, or speak good words and be good. But then there was something that followed about Islam and Christianity, and I didn't follow that.
Yes, because in Islam and Christianity, they said, if you don't do this, you'll be punished. But in Buddha, I hesitate to say religion. In Buddha philosophy, it doesn't say if you do not do, you will be punished. It says virtuous and non-virtuous. And to be virtuous, it doesn't say if you're non-virtuous, you'll be punished. It doesn't say anywhere. Does it? This is my question also.
Well, that's it. Then, Chiwa Yangmana, I'm going to go to Suzuki Samsu and Shugi years, and Suzuki Samsu, then the rest. And they put the Dharma, Sangi, Nangpe Chu Seridi, and he lejar cake tolaya, and he Jashi the Gabna, and he G's, and he 60 or Chigi done that the Sim Yamin Sungi done that, Sungang Simgi done that, Yamin Sur cook tap cheva, and he Simba, all that's there, and the Chusseridi. 그래 쩌바 근쩌기 계절에 근쩌 만라와기 낭네 근쩌 장보기 제레로 근쩌 장보 쌈레 근쩌 장보 쌈레 간선은 아니 계절에 장보시 아니 미제 아니 그래 그래 된다는 바 아니 제 된다는 버쳐 된제 아니 깔업 나와 참기 계절에 아니 이슈기 출력 아니 카체기 출력 될라야 아니 최서리디기 된다 뜻면 라와레 가인서나 된제 체나 딕바 된제 체바이나 체송나 아니 직대 근처기 네바땅용 그냥 낭배 쳐들라야 네바 땅에기 계제디양 요마레 소소기 데파체나 아니 미게와 가르사 미게와 데파체나 드네 동요 냥용 아니 게와체나 아니 대와 아니 냥용 용에 계제 참레 이 소소기 삼수 슈와데롱 데레다 데레 아니 계시기에 디코르야 아니 강 공공 대승으로지 라 써보셔서 얘기실라
오예 다디스티서 어디에 땅도 최선이다 줄룩수수 최고 제시자단 가가 여버디 참 저랑 되었던 것 같아 레스 수수도 그최 띵삽려다 아니 최고 제시자단 민라디 된데 요레스 다 이내 단단하도 낭백이 전에 최스라도 좀 봤다 단다 저랑 주어나지 간다 군주 상보시네자 간다 최시도 좀 규르와 땅와 간다 니주지 교와 땅외게 고아지라 아니 대시 고거래서 어디지 손어다.
It is just as you say that there are various perspectives across the various spiritual traditions or religions, and they vary in their profundity and the details of their presentation along the lines that you suggest, just along the very same lines. But more so even more so in the Buddha Dharma, there is associated with Dharma the meaning of transformation and change, the change and transformation of the mind.
어디서
Lola.
어야 딱 간다 주줄 땅와 최기 찍되게 간다 최세되게 딱 간다 주줄 땅와 주줄 걸땅 거스나다 샘기 내당데 수수기 샘기 내당데 교와 땅전에 안되게 샘기 내당디 아니 양다바 마이바 딜레 니주 야바 상와지 고수 샘기 나주 제부제기와 되게 좋았던 게 여백이 아니 고대지가 되게 시작이 열었어. 제가 다 디도 어떤 낭배 추고 단다 추 바보는 띵 사부 잡나 만주고 단다 셈 락바 베셈 마시와 디 파유 셈 시와 아니 베 사메기 셈 지술렌 투야게 고 뉴바지기 인자 콜라지 아니 다르마 추 스테시리 작이 열었어.
So it is in that the Dharma of the Buddha Dharma, the Buddha Dharma, the Buddha's Dharma is associated with, connected with change and adjustment, altering and improving the state of the mind. If the mind is incorrectly or imperfectly composed, then it may be through the Buddha Dharma improved so that the mind and its state is improved. This is the alteration for improvement of the mind is implied in Dharma, in the Buddha Dharma. And what distinguishes the Buddha Dharma for its profundity is that the mind is recognized as, at a gross level, perturbed and not at peace. And the improvement and the change that the mind may undergo in the Dharma is to come to be pacified so that uncontaminated contentment is experienced.
그래서
Oh.
어야 딱 한달 배나다 남발을 차샤바 이나스 남발다 쳐스라도 규려야 될라 규려야 탑될라 다 가려서 탑다 셔럽니 다 탑다 셔럽니 돈은 가리 규그르선다 당기 다 간다르 류당아 이가가 다 간다 사제기 류되게디 견도다 되게디 견도다니 견 통을 거네 디파가 아니 랑게 류디 사메기 류지 투네 가다다 류 사메기 류베 동해지 풍부데 강가 봐 돌네 아니 다 동해지 풍부 돌베게 아니 제부들라 아니 대와 땅아 저는 고대세를 하지 양대세로 어 양대기 류디 줄랑 어다 딜랑도 좀 봐니 신에 땅아 저게 다 양대라야 될라 다 양대들라 두수도 랑 지구 코나치도 양대 토베 요래 아니 담지 gembe 고바한테 토베 요래서 디 딱 간들래야 규들 제부들 텐데 요래 손으로
The Buddhist notion of change is a change carried out by particular method of the method aspect and the wisdom aspect both together. And what is changed is the very body, speech, and mind of the contaminated aggregates of the present body. The contaminated aggregates are recognized to be problematic and disadvantageous to us, such that we would transform them, discard them, and adopt in their stead, instead of them, the uncontaminated aggregates, which experience no sorrows and dissatisfaction. That is to take up the body that is Nirodha and Nirvana. Nirodha, Nirvana, as result, is of two forms: quiescent personal peace or omniscient Buddhahood. This quiescent personal peace, omniscient Buddhahood, these are the uncontaminated aggregates.
This one?
Hello.
Oh, yeah, that's the chulu Tamalog, Ganda, Koas Chikele, and Ko Tarbas Chik, Ganget, Kelengi, or that Gandarjik, Dungejik, I shared it on Dewaji to Veg, Talam Shigi, or the Ine, that Tarbas in the Mosimag. Kanji Dewadi Mojidan Tolata, Susuki, Namju Tone, but Nambaina, that bed Tamji came back Gomas in Dewa Chishudre, and the order Tarbe Gomas, Koala Tarbala Tarbas. Or that the tone the Jagre. That in Nashi Penamazo Tanda Muti Tangian Konzo Imbaina, Tangazo Chitinji come de la Deba Su Sume Yorwa, and the Sume Leke Sumene Chiame Kesuna, Konzo Tarba Tobas Jagre. That in Nashi Chulush that Kaji the Koranzoga in that Kandar Kunjo Kele and the Chile Kesuna and Tarba Tobasa Korangi. Kunjo Lever, that Tarba Tobas, called the Shijan Susudere, in a Kele Tarbatan. 동해직 지하다 대화지 두배기 탑람을 찍고 시기요. 이내 대화 두배기 대외 뭐지 나들한 때에 미라고 돈에다 간들 뜻이 자다도 연구요. 어디든지 얘기 있다. 수술 업종 집에 주르는 데지 소유에 손으로지.
Lo, dine Zhangjimbara, and Zhangjimba Denzagi, and Durkam, and Durmekam, Durkam, Zukam, Zukmekam, Zukmekam de la Zukmekam la, and Lo, and Zukmekam de la, and Chiang Meba de Tobne, Dine, and Tarbara. Okay, see, Sitse, Ra, Sitse. La. No.
얘기 다 수수고 단다 롭존 제비 주름나라 한 줄룩 수수고 타르바 뭐진다로 델리로 대시자다 델리도 지어래 손었어.
라제산이 계시기 공소들라 아니 아니 출력 상매 아니 직송라고 그러 아니 다르바다 아니 코로디 아니 뭐진 땅들라고 그러는데
다 동해 직세 동해 세야되다 대화 두배지 탈람 쓴거리네다 다르바 동해 대화 두배기 대화들라다 아니 수수 대화 되다 다 리미도 어떻게 망고 여바지 이제 지금 나랑 소화 유son으로지.
Spiritual traditions, religions have in common what is a shared recognition of samsara and of moksha, liberation, insofar as there is a recognition of discontent and a recognition that there may be contentment, and one finds contentment through causes for contentment. And there's some diversity in where the diversity or difference is found is in the manner in which an analysis is given of what the contentment would be, and in the Buddha Dharma, the greatest satisfaction and contentment is the contentment of omniscient Buddhahood. And there is a lesser form that is moksha, that is personal liberation from samsara. But there's much in common. And among non-Buddhists, the Samkhya philosophy, there is posited the desire realm, the form realm, and the formless realm. And in the formless realm, where peak of existence, the mental state is achieved, then this is equated with moksha. And then this is different. But among the spiritual traditions, they share in common a recognition of a samsara, cyclic existence and sorrow, and provide a method for finding contentment. My studies have caused me to think in this way about the religious traditions, that they have in common this recognition of sorrow that would be eliminated and contentment that would be brought about. The difference seems to be found in what the resulting, in the characteristics of the result that is the contentment in the end. Oh. Is that right? Does that make sense?
Yes, maybe this can be discussed in the next. I'll not take any more time. But if I say my thinking, if I call dharma to me is a more narrow definition, like the rivers. Versus if I say philosophy, that is like an ocean. To me, Buddha Dharma is like a big philosophy, like an ocean. Versus a river, like a dharma. This can be, I know, yes, you will have a lot of explanation on this. So I keep it for the next time. Next time discussion, okay?
the nge de zombo chola tangi me ne de nge mutine susugi samsu shuba yena de zombo chola ndrogere ne de chik shuba yena ne sangi chu nangi chu serite ne kyaso kyachi mo dogore ane de drupta chidang drupta serite zambala yang drupta diang ane kyamso kyaso chimbo dogore ane the nge koalensu nge samsu de jela shugo ane danda tiso ane tangi me da ane chola tangi me
다 간다 최스네 간다 동해 파까 토야기 랑기 동해 시월 제게 다 탑다 셰럽 거리나고 다 최스 간다 최스 담고 동해 쩨니지라 동해지 파쩨버 제게 다 임부 거리나 될라 최스 된다 시점은 되게 어려서 아니 저랑 나와다 제라 그거 위해서
the annulling of states of sorrow, the pacification of personal discontents, and the means that are an aspect having to do with the method and the aspect that is the wisdom of it. These are for altering and improving away from a sorrowful state, and one adjusts and alters so that the sorrows come to an end through the application of some antidote to bring about their end. And so if the description or if the notion of the Dharma were just that might be suitable. And we may just as well continue our conversation later too. And are there others? Any others? Wow.
Darla, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but if you come closer to the microphone, maybe I learned from the last question that would be helpful.
Maybe hopefully simple question, maybe not directly related to the chapters or the talks, but something experienced during today's session that I have felt before, and I'm wondering how you would describe that in the Buddhist or the Dharma context. And the experience on the individual level, when somebody in the back was coughing, I suddenly feel sharp pains in my heart, and I feel the coughing, and it feels like something's processing to do something with that. And offline, I can go into a bigger context. But for the example of what happened in today's session, it was a very direct feeling with the person who was talking.
맞아.
나서 데 따때 게 치와 야만데 나랑게 냠뇽데 제 방종화데 봐 아니 슈와데 아니 드링기 저던단 저와요 말에 다 아니 드링에 아니 추 그래서 게시기 숨비 추디 닌드 잠발라 아니 초르와 가르게 종노마 종 아니 되게 아니 코르라야 아니 직슈야 여사 따띠엔다 아니 데 갭네 디 그래서 아니 툭락강 되게 갭 거네 라 아니 갭네 아니 미치기 아니 케치시기도 와 아니 데 갭네라 아니 케치시드 미디기 케치시드 네 룰라 소르와 덴지케송 따띠 수수기 르포기 난로라 아니 추볼 도에 서로 된데 아니 양내양 계기도 아니 나죽 된데 갭 용게도사 다니 루기나로라 아니 추볼 된소 아니 도에 라추 도네 아니 그래서 나죽 갭송 아니 된데 삼래 아니 데려와
다디 한다 스스로 다디 장기 탄다 초아 수수기다 셈난게 초아지로 와서 초아지래네 다 한달 안한조 삼도 다 주중 안한조 다 냠랭기 다 수수도 냠랭 리미다 가시기 미다바 냠랭 제요래 아니 장주 셈만 냠랭 제요 동일은 냠랭 제요래 냠랭 다 지당 수수수 아니 류기 동해기 돌아 삼도 따야 가져나 다 템바냐 샤 삼도 땅게 이나 아니 루 템바냐 샤다 최 템바냐 샤다 초와 템바냐 샤 들리 냠네 지기로 왔다 냠네 지야 릭수수수레스 예전다 단다 저랑 초와도 총와도 이나 아니 즉 밖에 루 템바냐 샤가 삼로 땅땅 더 첨부 이거 들리 지게 저도 땅도 나랑라 초와들이 총송송로
The feeling that you described would be a mentally processed feeling, and we have a range. There's a range in the normal practices or forms that practice may take. Some meditate on impermanence, some meditate to develop bodhicitta, some meditate on emptiness, some meditate with an awareness of physical pain. There are meditations that are close awareness of the body, close awareness of feeling. And this is, as you describe your experience, I get the impression that you are engaged in a close attention to the body as a meditation.
그래서 제가 땅 아주 단다 사이 단다 제브 단다 아주 과도마다 전반년샤 그고 루기 온도 체대로 왔다 루고 전반년샤 개침보고 다 사이 되는 바 전반년샤 시온도 아니 다 저랑 다다 들어왔다 하나씩 루지 전반년샤 소화 전반년샤 아니 뒤시 전반년샤 상아도 배터 랑 루기 전반년샤 고메 전반년샤게 다 냠내 지당 시온도 단다 저랑 나지다 수수고 지금 루난게 직파게 루상에 아니 루난게 대두고 있다 전반냠샤 제가 검제하디 아니 바이다 루 대가란 게 제일 마상이네 제일 죽을 내 대용 그래서 디디 저랑 다 들어 들려 망스 좀 고주 계획을 해서
The meditations that are close awareness of the body, of sensation, of discriminating perception. These are technical meditations, and in them one meditates with an awareness, a careful awareness of states that are satisfactory and dissatisfactory, or states that are apparently pure or impure, constructive or not. And they are deliberate meditations that are the topic of the coming topic in the chapters that we will turn our attention to. And when we do, you will find answers to, a response to what you mentioned and shared today.
Many said the Lu Dirim, the Lu Nabanare to the Lu Nabang, Lu Shivala, Lu Nabanare, Lu Nabashidi, and the Kerang Tanda, that is Hoa Yondada, and it's Suzugus. They do Joati Chazan or Dinal Yongres much.
And it's not chapter 4 in which we find the presentation of the close awareness meditations, but in the 5th chapter, close awareness to feeling states that are satisfactory and dissatisfactory.
Oh, Chazan Tiduzamani, Cherangitat, and that some like Toy over to that joy you but Chazan to leg race and bring it to land. Kerandala Misek and Lenka Mess, Leogua, and the ring of the Dilatation, and Malam Dungi is much.
And so then a direct response that's a direct information directly relevant to your question will arise naturally in the presentation of the close awareness meditations, close awareness to feeling, satisfactory states and dissatisfactory states. It's connected to what you mentioned today. And I haven't explicitly addressed your question, but it will be addressed in natural course, and we will conclude here for today.
Yeah. I'm going
to recite the closing prayers. All of you will recite your closing prayers, please.
Tenerindo bele soni je kadar yamba kashi sabade lome mare ge don rowa ye nandre jave ombo tajuji tema zumbe tsera gundu yang jambe yangji zewe jesun tembe rimba kusan lamji jo nyene drube jenum nyeje Rangi chichi tobe lamji ni shuja tsewe chanwe tageji Rowe yeje mumba seje ne jawe tenpa yure zejoji Tenpa rinje choje majaba chabja nyambar jube chode Nyenje chenpe yirabu chewa ye pede teje sewara chewa sho Teje jave menjun trile le dru chanju lamje rimbe jang. Tade nanje yila pedeje jave zeba rindu jojoje. Lasa drube tujin rujeje yege seje medame mewa. Tera kondo jave ngaba yi namda lamda trewa manjuje. Kanze tibo jolo chujuji tsuje jolo tsumba tiye. Ude nanje tatu chojeji trashi jazu chugun chabjuji. Oh,
In English.
Yeah.
May I be held in your loving compassion for all my lives, Manjushri. May I find the best of the paths of the complete teachings, and may I please all the Buddhas by practicing. Using skillful means drawn by the strong force of compassion, may I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings with the points of the path as I have discerned them. May I uphold Buddha's teachings for a very long time, with my heart going out with great compassion in whatever direction the most precious teachings have not yet spread or once spread have declined. May I offer this treasure of happiness to aid all sentient beings. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be granted bounteous peace, and the Buddha's deeds be nourished for a long time by following the complete graduated path to enlightenment and the wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their sons. May all human and non-human beings that eliminate adversity and make things conducive for practicing the excellent paths never be parted in any of their lives from the purest path praised by the Buddhas. Whenever someone makes effort to act in accordance with the tenfold Mahayana virtuous practices, may he always be assisted by the mighty ones, and may oceans of prosperity spread everywhere.
Tembe nimbo rendo seje jo kare rave gove shingande pendan dewa malu jove tere sewa tenzi jazo yi shabe sidi badu tenjo je shabe bawo je dar khenpa ta kondo sambo deyan deje Eda kunji jeso dalo je jewa deda tamje rabdu ngo Tuzo jebe jewa tamje je ngowa kangla chodo ngaba Daje jebe zawa digunja Sambo chuje rabdu ngo wara je Chanju semjo rimbo je ma je pa na je yu Yewa nyamba meba ya kone kondo pewara sho.
I dedicate whatever virtues I have ever collected for the benefit of the teachings and of sentient beings, and in particular for the essential teachings of Venerable Losang Drakwa to shine forever. In the land encircled by snowy mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All-powerful Shinrizi Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until cyclic existence is ended. Just as the brave Manjushri and Samantabhadra do, realize things as they are. Also, I dedicate all these merits in the best way, that I may follow their perfect example. I dedicate all these roots of virtue with the dedication praised as the best by the victorious Daskan ones of the three times, so that I might perform the noble Bodhisattva's deed. May the supreme jewel Bodhicitta that has not arisen arise and glow, and may that which has arisen not diminish, but increase more and more. Oh, auspicious felicitations to all of you. All right, we'll end here. No, they were like, just to Boston, so. Hello. Cuba. Okay, good night and rest in conscientiousness.
That's so.